Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your OBC, your original Boruto Chief here, bringing you guys the newest leaks for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 31. And it seems like everyone's second favorite sussy baka, Kashin Koji, is following up on his 2025 Boruto manga run where he was the #1 most improved sussy baka. He's now going for 2026's most valuable sussy baka award. As per usual, looks like he's doing things that Boruto will not find to be entertaining or to be morally responsible. Like always, we'll look at the information that we have because this is stuff that Shueisha does want you to know about the upcoming manga chapter in order to get hyped up for it. Which, reminder for those who need it, which every month there are people who need it, Boruto chapters drop on the 20th each month, unless it is a short month or there's a holiday that affects the scheduling in Japan, which if that happens, the release date is either the 18th or 19th. You read the chapters officially on the Manga Plus app or on Viz Media's Shonen Jump app. Both are free to use to read the most recent 3 chapters. This month is a short month, so the chapter drops on the 19th this month. If you want the chance to be featured in the community response video where we look at all of your predictions here on YouTube as well as on Patreon, go to the community tab of my channel and leave your prediction under the chapter 31 post. I'm not gonna do any more community posts between now and Wednesday, so leave your predictions there. The chapter review will likely be out on the 21st or the 22nd this month, so I thank you guys in advance for your patience and your support. Lastly, don't forget to head over to my Anime Explained channel and check out the new Jujutsu Kaisen videos on the channel that break down Hikari's curse techniques and Kiara Hoshi's curse technique in extensive detail, and be on the lookout for my Akane video essay that drops on Monday if you're a fan of Oshinoko. Extremely proud of the script on that one, especially the second half of the video. All will be linked down in the description box for those who are curious. So with the monthly maintenance out of the way, let's unpack everything that we have here from the latest chapters, spoilers that are coming from the official Naruto website. Basically, Kashin Koji is continuing his manipulation of Inojin, and he's telling Inojin that he has to make a decision right now for the sake of the timeline. And Inojin appears to be freezing up now that it's clear he's in a proper life or death situation, and more importantly, this time it's not just his life at stake. As a shinobi, that's something that he signed up for, knowing that it may be possible that he dies. But in this moment, depending on what Inojin chooses to do, this may result in an innocent person being killed too. And he clearly has not come to grips with the idea of collateral damage. Kashin Koji is clearly operating under the assumption that if he can push Inojin just a little bit further during a time where Mamushi is attempting to kill him, that he can get the innocent Inojin to cross a line that he otherwise would not cross. He tells him, given the position that you're in right now currently, if things don't change, if Kobu dies, then you will die as well. That's the downside to the mind transfer jutsu, and you know it. This is pretty devious when you think about it, not because of the part if you die, it's going to be because you're still in Kobu's body. That part's been established since part 1 of Naruto, the dangers of that jutsu, but it's more so the timing and how we got here. Kashin Koji, in the time he's had his claws into Inojin, has been setting the stage for gaslighting to occur and to take advantage of Inojin being in love with Himawari, wanting to use those feelings for her to get him to cross lines. Do you want to protect Himawari? Cool, then help me help Boruto. Do you want to protect Himawari? Then illegally help me communicate with the Hokage. Do you want to protect Himawari? Then learn this jutsu that will break about 100 different laws inside of Konoha if you use it. Do you want to protect Himawari? Then hijack the body of the Chancellor to the feudal lord, the guy who is basically, when he's in Konoha at the behest of the feudal lord, is basically the top person in the village with the most power. Do you see the progression here? He treated Inojin the way that you do when you're trying to groom someone to being into a criminal. You don't start them off with just shooting someone. They get built up into doing small things to escalate, like, hey fam, you see these shoes here in the store, sure would be nice. Oh, you don't have money to buy them? Go ahead and just take them. Put your shoes in the box and we walk out with these. You build somebody up, you condition them, and then you escalate as you get more control. Koji basically is hedging his bets here. If Inojin doesn't go through with it, then at the very least, he's covered his tracks for the most part. Though you have to believe someone like Sai would figure out the rest given everything that's happened, even though he himself doesn't know that Inojin was working with Kashin Koji. The problem though is Inojin tells Kashin Koji, I know what you want me to do, and it's super obvious, but you can tell he can't bring himself to go through with it. A cold-blooded murder of an innocent man. Love or hate Kobu, looking strictly at the totality of the circumstances and not the personal feelings towards the guy. He hasn't done anything wrong except for try to do his job at the wrong place at the wrong time. Deep down, someone like Inojin, despite being a ninja, just looking at his character, he's sensitive enough as a child to know that despite that, everything that Kobu's done, he doesn't deserve to die. And it's also interesting that despite the fact that historically in the Japanese manga, Inojin has a potty mouth that is oozing with insults and sarcasm that would give his father Sai a run for his money. It's interesting to see that Inojin is still drawing a line here, and it's going to be very interesting to see how he reconciles with this, especially since he was already uneasy about working with Boruto, a known traitor in the village itself. It's brief, but this one interaction, it does add more layers to the story itself, and the inclusion of having Mamushi charging forward raises the stakes here. Mamushi's role is very simple. Be the thing that pushes Inojin to act and to be forced to choose what decision it is he's going to make. Does he follow the cold hard logic, or does he hesitate? And does he follow the values instilled in him by both of his parents, as well as from having grown up in an era of peace where Naruto and Kakashi, they were Hokage during his lifetime. Two people who helped mold the current culture of this new generation of shinobi. That's all they've known. The fact that the Mamushi clone is going off of pure instinct is where it will get very interesting, but I do wonder if we're being set up for a swerve based off of all of this, because Kashin Koji is screaming at Inojin to switch back, just as Mamushi appears to be closing in at long last. The reason I say this is the knee-jerk reaction is to say Boruto shows up here, but after going back and rereading the chapters for this arc, which I do recommend doing the week before a new chapter drops personally, because in hindsight, it does clip a lot of stuff when you go back and reread. So when I went back and I looked at a few things, it really stood out. Boruto obviously couldn't have given Inojin a flying Raijin marker because Kashin Koji was there watching Inojin train, and even if he did, it's pointless because Inojin is not physically there on the rooftop. Now, the toad that Inojin is using typically has a marker with him. We've seen that toad with that marker before, but it's always been big enough that it needs to be physically carried, and there's nothing based on the manga panels that indicates that that toad has the marker. Boruto also doesn't appear to have left a marker at the Hokage Tower rooftop. Initially, I thought that was the case, but then when I went back and reread, I saw like, oh, okay, Boruto did teleport to the Hokage off his tower before, but his sword was already imbued with his chakra for teleportation purposes. So when he used Flying Raijin, that's how he got there. That's why he got to Sumire so fast. She was carrying his sword. Now, it does seem like as part of the preparation for this Mamushi battle, Boruto's Flying Raijin markers appear to have been spread out amongst the village in strategic points. So it's possible that the Hokage rooftop did get a marker, or that the toad that Shikamaru had been speaking with before had left behind a marker inside the office. But based on what we have here, there's no real indication that this was the case, but if it happens, it would make a lot of sense. Honestly, this does feel like there's a swerve being set up here for something beyond just the standard, oh, Boruto saved Kobu. I think there's something else there. It's either the how in terms of how Kobu is saved, which when it comes to that, it's more so about who saves Kobu, or if it's something surrounding this, as in a fallout that comes from it. But this feels like the story quite literally just put the tip of the meat in, so you can get the reaction and you can see the juices get on the tip before you put every inch in. My cooking people will definitely get that reference. If you know how to work a hot pan to get that flavor and the brown and the crust on the tip before you cook the whole thing, you definitely understand where I'm going with that. Now, storytelling works in a similar way. The writing method escapes me at this moment because I'm doing this whole thing off script, but If I can remember when I edit this video, then I'll put the method name on the screen itself. But basically, as a writer, particularly when you're using the funneling method, which Boruto does tend to do, you want to take that approach, especially if you're going to be setting up a subversion of expectations, which in this case, the subversion depends on how you want it to go. Subversion expectations, like, cleared up, because like I still see people thinking like subversion expectations have to be some grandiose plot twist. That's not necessarily how that works. So Kobu's being set up to die. A basic bare minimum subversion of expectations would be to have him saved by Boruto, because the story is making you think like, oh, Kobu can die. If Inojin does not switch back, oh my god, this guy's gonna die. What's gonna happen? Oh, Boruto just saved him. That is a subversion expectations. A more detailed subversion expectations is to have him saved by Boruto. Or a more detailed subversion expectations is to say, okay, people think that Kobu's gonna die, and there are gonna be people that think that Boruto's gonna save him. So how about we have someone else save him? Or how about we have Inojin choose to save Kobu himself? That's a more detailed subversion of expectations. But you only do something like that if there's a bigger payoff that is planned. And when you do that as well, there has to be something else that comes of it if that's the route that you go. Again, a bigger payoff has to be planned for later on. I do think Ikimoto's got to be very careful here, just based on what we have and the way that this whole thing is structured. This appears to be something that is happening early on in the chapter. This feels like it might even be the first page of the new chapter. Between Ikimoto, Kishimoto, and the Boruto editor, who also is the editor for Dandadan, Chainsaw Man, Spy Family, series that I read, and who used to be an editor for Demon Slayer, I'm not too worried that they stick the landing here. That's a lot of people that have good instincts that are all in the same room. But personally, I'd like to see them do something other than just take the safe option, but that might be where we're headed here. Which safe is not always a bad word. Like, there's a tendency for anime manga fans to say you took the safe way out, and they treat the word safe like it's a dirty word, but being blunt, that's not always the case. Again, cliches, they're tried and tested for a reason, because they work. And Boruto being a sequel to one of the biggest gateway shonen in history, it's gonna do things that play things safe at times. And that's not always a bad thing. Like, to use a wrestling reference, like, it's just like you go to a house show for wrestling, you know going into it that there's a very strong chance that the heel, the bad guy, is not gonna win. Usually you send the crowd home feeling good about themselves. They got to watch the babyface overcome the lying, cheating heel. Battle shonen, especially gateway battle shonen, they typically play it safe and they just give you what you expect to happen. Boruto at times has walked a little past that, just as its predecessor series Naruto at times would walk a little past it, but for the most part, they check off a lot of the boxes of typical gateways. That's why, like, if you want Kawaki to die, I don't think Boruto kills him. Just like I don't think that Kobu dies here. It'd be a welcome surprise. I don't think that's where we're going. And this chapter really makes me think, based on this preview, that's where we're going. He's not gonna die. As always, we are in that time of the month again, and the chapter does come out officially on the 19th this month. So the review is likely on the 21st or the 22nd. So I thank you in advance for your patience and your support. In the meantime, click here for the newest Jujutsu Kaisen video that I talked about earlier, or click here for this new Naruto Explained video.